Now at the back of my in-ground pond, I do have, obviously I've got my wetlands bog filter, which we done a little bit of a clear out on, but I have this whole area here. I got this good boy. Hey buddy. Oh, he's tired, he was doing a bit of running around. But I got this whole area here at the back of the in-ground pond because I had to just build this up just so I could put the in-ground pond in here in the first place. But we got we got stone and we got stuff down here and we got tarpaulin, and basically this is just not, it's not good, you know? So I'm thinking we might do a little bit more, you know, tank integration here, because literally right across from them, hiding underneath this camouflaged concealment, I've got aquariums. I've got quite a few aquariums actually. This is kind of my extras now at the moment. Brew here, just keep a close eye on and make sure that they're okay. And basically I'm thinking maybe take one of those guys, integrate it into the hill just here, get it in there somewhere so that it's, you know, part of this setup. And that's where somewhere I'm going to be able to do like aquascapes and tank builds and stuff like that. So I can show you what different aquascapes look like for, you know, different scenarios, and we can have a little bit of a play with that maybe. I think that'll be a bit of fun. I could be somewhere then that if I do have some baby goldfish that I want to grow on over the course of the summer, it's already ready to go and something that we can make use of.
My name's Greg and you're very welcome to the Joy of Aquascaping, where we look at all things fish related. I've worked with fish for over 20 years now, both as a hobbyist and as a professional, and I want to share all of the things that I've learned with you to help make your fish keeping experience even better. Stay tuned for tank builds, species specific information, and all things fish keeping related. Thanks for watching the Joy of Aquascaping. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
That means the first thing I've got to do is clear everything out of the way here, because quite a few bits in the way, but thankfully, because this is all temporary, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that afterwards, but this stuff is all in pots. None of this stuff here is stuck in the ground, thank goodness. So I'm going to get those out of there, and then we'll take a look at what we're working with. So that didn't take too long. We're pretty much at the point now where I can start kind of doing a little bit of the preparation work for moving the tank over. All that stuff cleared out super easy because again, it is designed to be taken apart. This is all temporary. This is only going to be staying here for about 2 years and that's it. So hopefully at that point we'll be able to move on and go for a more kind of significant long-term upgrade. But in the meantime, this is what we're working with. So I'm going to get this cleared out a little bit. Basically what we've got going on here is got a load of concrete blocks underneath some pond liner here, which is going over into the wetlands bog filter, and I've created basically a mini pond here raised up beside that original pond. So this here, you can't touch any of this, but this stuff here, this is basically just placed over it to keep the pond liner down. I'm going to pull some of that back here now, and I'm going to move over so just a simple stand that I made up for one of my 40-gallon longs. I think that's what I'm going to put here, because especially if we're going to do any sort of fish breeding or anything during the summer and I want to get a bit of use out of it, the 40-gallon long is a good size. So I need to be kind of thinking about a couple of things as I'm doing this, because if I'm going to do tank builds and stuff, I need to have good access to this. I need to be able to get into it, but I do also still want to integrate it into this a little bit. So I'm going to clear this out of the way, and I think I'll start moving over the tank and the tank stand and seeing what way we can kind of fit this into this setup and maybe start working from there. So let's get this stuff here cleared out. So you can see here from this angle, we've got our pond liner, like I was saying, and we've got our bricks. That was just used to kind of pack in the earth and make sure that the wetlands bog filter wasn't going to move anywhere. The ground level here would have been about this height, so it needed to be raised up. The pond is a kind of a funny one. It's at ground level on this side, but on this side I had to build it up because it was kind of built into a hill. But it's working out perfectly. But I'm going to clear this stuff here now, and I don't have, thankfully, on my back, thank goodness, I don't have to move this very far. I'm just going to shift it to the side so that I kind of clear this area as much as I can, because we want to be able to get the aquarium kind of snug up to this, kind of minimize the distance between the aquarium coming in and the actual wetlands bog filter itself. Right, so we have a little bit of the groundwork done here. Basically just getting things somewhat level. Now, I think what I want to have is the aquarium here, a little bit of an angle looking in, because it'll be facing just as you're coming around here to walk up the steps and you'll be able to see straight into it. So I think rather than being like packed straight up, straight tight against that, maybe a bit of an angle here would be actually, that'd be quite nice. I think that'll be definitely a little bit easier to work with. I'll be running electrics from underneath the decking, so it'll give me a little bit of a less distance to have to run wires. Cables aren't cheap, but we got a couple of those, so that's not so bad. So basically I'm gonna have to look at putting the feet down here and here. So this red brick here might be in the way. I'm gonna take that out and maybe just try to get that pushed back a tiny bit further, but I can't go too much into that because I don't wanna work. This wasn't actually part of the plan when I done the wetlands bog filter, so I didn't make the wetlands bog filter. Again, remember, this is temporary. I made it to be able to come apart, but I don't want it actually coming apart while I'm in the middle of doing this build. So I'll go a little bit further back, but not too far, and then we'll bring over the aquarium and the stand. Good grief, the lads are out tearing around today. Now, let's just take a look at what we're working with here aquarium-wise. You can probably tell I'm not using anything too fancy here, because well, if it was too fancy I wouldn't have it out here underneath this, but you know, you gotta work with what you gotta work with, and I didn't have anywhere else to store these guys. You can see here we got a couple. This is like a little hospital tank that I use sometimes for baby fish, particularly smaller fish if they need dip, stuff like that. And a small aquarium like that, you're using less medication, plus it's super easy to clean then as well, because it's only small, it doesn't take very long. This guy here, Hugo Kamishi, Simplicity. I wouldn't say it's like a beautiful aquarium. Not a big fan of these steel front and rear panels on it, but I have these a long time and they've never let me down, and I have a little purpose-built stand for it, good to go. And the wood it's made of is solid. And I'm gonna use this. It's gonna work perfectly. I did remove these off one of the tanks before, but the likelihood of it breaking the glass is severe. It's not something I want to try, chance my arm out with this one. So we're gonna just leave it in place. It does have a couple of little rails going across the top, just that we can, you know, put a lid on it if needs be. If we're raising baby fish, that kind of thing, we might want to do that, keep them protected, that kind of thing. And it's glass all around, we can see what's going on in it. So that's the idea for doing tank builds and raising baby fish. When you're raising baby fish, you really want to be able to see what's going on, make sure that they're okay. So I'm going to shift this over there now. I'll move the tank out of the way, and then we'll move the stand over, because we're going to need to get the stand right before we even think about putting the aquarium in. Let's do that first. That wasn't so bad. They actually don't weigh much at all. They're pretty light, these guys. Because you need to put your aquarium down on something. We've got let me see, well, we had some cork. Because originally when it was indoors, I didn't need all this stuff on it, but I got some insulation. So we got some rubber, first of all. Let's talk about that. So this is the sort of stuff that you put down on the garage floor. Kids play areas, that kind of thing. Again, different colors. And then this is just thermal insulation. And this just means that if the aquarium settles or anything like that, it's fine. It's not going to break on the bottom because this stuff is soft all around. Great for the underside of the aquarium. It's a little bit dark, so we might put something on top of this to brighten things up a little bit, but we might not, we'll see. But this stuff has worked out brilliant, so this will be staying. That just leaves us with this. Now, I mean, now this guy here is like, well, this is exactly what I do when I've got leftover equipment. To try put it to use, there's all offcuts, bits and pieces. I think it's from a bed that I made, I'm fairly certain. Yeah, it was actually. I made a bed and all the offcuts of wood that I have, I just kind of left them rough, made a little stand. This thing is monster sturdy, so this will do nicely. And you can see, it's pretty well weathered already. It's been out here pretty long time, but you know what? It's time for it to get put to good use. This part is crucial. Where is it gonna sit? What's it gonna look like? I can already tell I'm gonna have to go way deeper down at the back there. And that is way higher down on the left. You don't even, it's like maybe 15 centimeters. So I'm gonna have to come down here, but that's okay. But I just kind of want to get a feel for where I want to put it. Do I want to move it? I don't want to move it around further because I don't want it right beside. We've got some steps here and we're going in and out there with stuff. I definitely don't want to do a risk breaking it. Plus I'm doing a project right beside that, so I want it just far enough away. So this kind of distance is good, but if we want to get it, we do want to try get it a little bit tighter up here. So is that doable? I think so. And that red brick that I was gonna clear, the reason I didn't move was because it's actually posing no issues there whatsoever. Now I think the height of, oh, maybe, you know what? I think somewhere around here would be good. We're getting really close to the wetlands bog filter then, but with just enough space behind it that I've actually got room to work with. So I think I might just kind of mark this off. I think I'll just start preparing this. I'm gonna put down some bricks where the legs are, so the wood won't be like just sinking into the stone. So it's gonna rest on those guys. We'll put down some bricks and then we'll start building stuff up around this. Make sure we get it level. And yeah, let's do that. I'd actually completely forgot when I built this. That piece there is actually just purely decorative. It and it was just actually held in with an interference fit. So yeah, because when I was using this in the house that I was renting, I needed to be able to get in at the stuff that was in behind, because I was storing stuff in here, just tight for space, you know. So I'm gonna put a couple of long screws in behind there in either end, get that locked in, but I'll worry about that once I got the whole thing level, because that won't affect the level in the meantime. Now I got a couple of these guys left over, and basically these are rubber, which will allow water to flow through them. The water can't come back up, so I'll place this underneath each leg and the water will drain down, but it won't make its way back up, so it won't be standing in water. And it'll save these guys from rotting out, and I have no fear of a 4x4 post rotting over the next 2 years. No matter what, those guys will be absolutely fine. But this will help just a little bit extra. Now we've got her in for the best part there now. She's level. And now we can start working on putting stuff on top of it and start kind of putting some shape to this whole thing, because I want to see what it looks like when it's right up on top of it and how it's going to integrate itself in with the pond. It can be kind of hard to imagine initially. Now, with this guy here, basically we have a sheet of insulation that's cut to the right size to match up with the bottom of this. Now, I switch this around so I got the right side facing the front. Perfect. Then we got this guy here. Now, switch him this way. Now, if you're going to use this outside, this is the raised dimpled side, and oh, we'll do some testing. Yes, that will do. The raised dimpled side, basically when you put it down on it, even with all the compression, there's still going to be like areas, little channels where just through capillary action, the water can get its way out of there rather than just sitting underneath there all the time. Shouldn't cause any issues anyway. But the other side of this stuff is completely smooth and it just doesn't allow for that. So that's something that I found out through setup I had previously, where I had wood on it and it did kind of get a little bit rotten. So that is a scenario we'll absolutely avoid. I have a little bit of trimming I'm going to do down this end once I have everything in. But let's get that aquarium up here. Whoa. See how she's looking. Just get her roughly lined up. See how she's looking. Okay. Okay. So, okay, it's dirty. I know. Let's take a look at her. Filthy, actually. But we can fix that. Just needs a clean. This is a living outside. Look at these isopods. This is a habitat already, but I'll say it like that. We're gonna give this a good clean. So let's see, is this where I want this? Coming around the corner. Now remember, we're gonna box in all here with plants and stuff like that. But I think where it is actually not too bad. Now from this side, I think, coming down this end of the pond, let's just take a look, soak it all up, see how it fits. Yeah, okay, I'm down here, chilling out, maybe a little whiskey. I've got these guys, I've got the Wetlands bug filter, and I got this. And what you gotta imagine is a couple of fish swimming around there. I wonder, maybe a little bit of an outdoor light that I can rig up, and well, that might not be too bad at all. We get rid of this stuff, obviously, but I think we're starting to see how she could look maybe incorporated into the system. That, I think, will do nicely. What do you reckon, guys? This guy here is not well. Only one in the pond that's been having trouble. He's unfortunately been like a puffball for months now. Treating him, but I don't see a scenario where he makes it, but yeah, dropsy is just, I've only ever seen one fish ever bounce back from dropsy and do well. Oh, we got a Millennium Falcon down. That's not flying again. Anyway, let's get back to this. Let's get a little bit more work done here before the light goes. And it is awesome just having a little bit more light, and even as I get a bit of work done, there's a limit to what I can do, but you know, while it's nice, I think it's to get very cold soon enough actually, so taking opportunities while we can to get a little bit of work done outside. Yeah, I think if we get a little bit of the groundwork done here and kind of start filling this back in, and kind of give us a really good idea of what we're going to be working with here, which would be awesome. Now, we got a couple of bits done here now. It's not a whole lot, but it's getting there. Now, the plan is basically we have a little area here because we're going to want to have somewhere we can maybe set up a tripod or a seat, or just, you know, be able to chill. Have a little area here that we can maybe put some potted flowers in and stuff like that. That'll be fine. But what I'll do is I'm leaving the wood on the front, and I'm going to fix this bit like I said, but I'll be able to put some maybe pots here, hanging plants, that kind of thing. Nothing too heavy, but maybe have some nice greens along here. Maybe some herbs, you know, something that will just do well, because during the summer this definitely gets a little bit of light in, and I think that would be nice. I'm definitely going to do the same around the side. The side is going to be have some sort of a hanging basket on it. I think that'll be nice, and I think that's what I'm going to do around the back here as well. Get something in there that I can put plants into, and kind of just, because if you look here now, they're kind of level with each other, almost thereabouts. I want to kind of not have something bridging the gap completely, but like I want to fill this in a little bit, because what I don't want is my dog getting in there, because he absolutely loves wandering through this Wetlands bog filter. There is no doubt in my mind that there's a couple of shrews or something living underneath this tarp, or has been at some point, because he's been super interested at various points over the last couple of months in this area. So what I want to do is I want to kind of cover this up a little bit, because he'll either damage the pond liner, end up in the pond, or he'll just hurt himself, and I don't want that. So I'm going to block all this stuff up here with all the stuff that's left over, and that'll give me a nice little area here that I can kind of do some gardening with, get a bit done. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to try block up this a little bit while, you know, I've got some moving around space here. And then I'll start getting some plants back in, a couple of bits around, see what I have that fits into here, and whatever is left over, then, well, you know, we'll just find another place where we got a bit of space here. Thank goodness to put some plant pots around. So yeah, I think we're getting there. Well, we're finally there. Took a little bit to get this kind of filled, and I done a couple of water changes, made sure any little critters that were in there had somewhere that they could go into my nature pond. That's going to need an overhaul. stay tuned for that one for sure. But we're full. The main thing is there ain't no leaks. It's level. There's no issues. Everything is nice and stable, which is good. I did put this little branch in here. I'll bring you in, give you a look, because I know it's a little bit dark now, but just to try and stop himself from, you know, taking a wander up there. Hopefully it works. I know he wants to go up there, but fingers crossed he stays out of there. Oh wow, you know what? Pretty stiff after that, but we're done. I've got this completely filled. We have no leaks, which is perfect. Delighted. You never can tell until you get it filled up. Now, I know already I'm gonna have like problems with sunlight, because the last time I had one of these tanks outside, any tank I've ever put outside, you'll always have lots of green. So I'm gonna put a lid over this. That's gonna help protect whatever we do put in it. It also gives me a place to put a light in it, because what I think is gonna be the best thing is to have a light above this, shining straight down, kind of like a traditional aquarium light. And I think that's going to make this kind of stand out a little bit more at night. It's also, the lid on top of it is gonna protect any of the guys inside, like I said, but it's also going to prevent the sunlight from just beating down on this all day. It also means that the rain won't come in and just wash straight through it and wash whatever we put in it out as well. So definitely roof lid for the top of this, something we're going to have to do for sure. I do have an airline just to the side of this. It's the one that I've got set up to go into my in-ground pond, so I can just kind of splice into that, put a valve on it, and we've got air coming in for an air sponge filter, because that's probably what I'm going to do. I don't see the sense in running like big, you know, external canister filters and stuff like that here. But that said, there's nothing to stop us from maybe putting a Manton filter down here and maybe running something like, you know, a river system, something like that. You can do a lot of stuff. 40 gallon, you can do quite a bit with. It's not a monster tank, but as you can see, it's a pretty decent size. There's a lot we can do with this. And I'm pretty excited about it. It's been a while since I've had an aquarium that I can just kind of play with, you know, and do a couple of different bits. It'd be nice to do different aquascapes. Like I said, if I have something, if I get to a point where I've got like goldfish breeding, stuff like that, or I want to breed any two specific goldfish and get a new batch going, this would be the perfect spot for it, you know. And keep a close eye on them, especially when like you're breeding stuff. You want to be able to see in from everywhere. I have a bigger tank than this as my hospital tank, because I got a couple of fish in that, because I've been treating a couple of different fish for a couple of different issues for a while now. So I have that bigger tank reserved. It would be amazing for this, I think, but I think, yeah, no, I need to give those guys a little bit more space, because I do have some. Thing is, hospital tanks usually keep them small, but I got some big fish, so when a big fish needs a hospital tank, it needs to be big enough for the big fish. But this won't be for big goldfish. You know, we might actually put one in and see what it looks like, because I think that'll be worthwhile, showing you what like a giant goldfish looks like when it's in a 40 gallon, because 40 gallons are what we usually say kind of is suitable for kind of 2 goldfish, but when they really get big, you'll see just how much of this they fill up. But we do that in a future video. But I'm interested to know, you know, what would you do if you had a 40 gallon outside in your garden that you could play with? What would you do with it? I think we've got a lot more work to do going all around this, and we've, you know, there's things that we can do, but I think this is more of a canvas than anything that we can have a little bit of fun with. We've got some, you know, the real estate is more in the length of it than the front to back depth. And that kind of makes it more suitable for certain aquascapes, but the fact that we can see in from multiple angles as well means that you're not just scaping it from the front, you're scaping it from the sides and the back as well, which I love. Something that you don't get to do with a lot of aquariums, because usually they're going to be pushed up tight against the wall. And I'm looking forward to being able to sit at the other side of the pond and view down here as well, and just kind of enjoy this in the evening. But that's it, guys. I am going to wrap this one up for the evening. It's cold. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be putting anything in this just yet, but there are actually critters in here going around. There's I did put a little bit of the chlorinator in here just to be on the safe side, because I knew that there was living things in here, and they're just going around here living their best life at the moment. Nice clean fresh water, and they're doing their thing. But I wouldn't be putting anything in here just yet, including my hands for a while if I can help it, because I'll tell you what, it's gone it's gone cold now. So we're going to go in and get a cup of tea on the go, warm up. We leave this one sit, and yeah, let me know, what would you do if you had this? You never know, maybe that's what we'll do next. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you take care. Bye for now.